Mars Premium 15 or 15 Premium, whatever it is, Series 1, and the dreaded shower with no fall. I've thought about the problem for a while, did a bit of research on the different forums, got some information, but I thought I'd share this video for anyone else with a Series 1 who's contemplating having a crack at fixing the problem. So I do believe that in the Series 2 they have addressed the problem, and it's not an easy thing to fix once it's in place, but it's an easy thing to address when they're putting it in place, and I'll explain why. So what we found was, no matter what angle we had the van on, after a shower there would always be water somewhere. It just wasn't enough fall. The actual base is virtually flat. So my plan is, I always like to have the van with a little bit of lean towards the front so I don't feel like I'm sleeping downhill. So it'll always lean downhill that way, and when we level it that way, it'll always have a slight lean this way towards the door, so that any water will end up running into what I've designed here. So the plan is to install this arrangement. I've masked it up because I'm going to urethane it in, but that'll sit in the hole in the floor, and then this will drop inside there, and you'll have a nice flashy little, what do I call them, a grate drain or something. This is only, I think it's 14 mil or something thick, 600 long. If you're interested, let me know and I'll post a link to where I got it. It was only 60 bucks, and it came with this little bit that fits in there. You drill the hole wherever you want it, and it fits nice and neat. And then I just heated the 40mm PVC pipe up, and it slid on nice and easy. So what we did, well, first of all, how they've done it. Look at the bloody quality silicon job they do from the factory. But anyway, lets me off the hook when I finish doing the edges here. So the floor is just a continuous floor right through, as you can see there. Then they put a sheet of, I don't know, there might be another sheet. Yeah, there's another. No, it's just a sheet. Well, there's a sheet of something under there, like ply, like 8th ply or something. And then there's, I don't know, ply again. I'll get the sample. Here it is here. So you can see it's just ply, and they've just laid that on the floor, and then what they've done then is they've used this sort of gluey stuff, like a leveling, glue adhesive, and they've smeared that all over the top of the ply, and then they've put the fiberglass shower base in, and that's why when you press on the floor, in places you can feel it flexes, in other places it's rock hard. So if they had have put the leveling in first and then pulled the drain in the center down, 5-8 mil, it would have had a fall to the center, but they didn't do that. But I do believe they've done it in the Mark II. So I cut that out using a multi-tool, $100, little blades, and so I went around and I cut this bit out first. First of all, I drilled a hole. So I looked underneath it and I couldn't work out where the drain was. There is a drain that's for the sink here somewhere. what happens is the drain is in the floor. How does it work? Anyway, the drain goes out there somewhere and comes out in the floor. No, I can't work that out. Anyway, I'll fill you in on that when I get underneath. So I cut this out, pull that up, and then cut this out and pull that up. When I pick my spot to drill my hole, there's a little member going through there. It's nothing big, but of course, Murphy's Law, I hit it. So that's it there, so I just kept hole sawing through. Below here is the water tank, the front water tank. So I dropped it out to see what I was hitting, and that's when I found this. And I looked at the structure and I thought, that's not going to bloody worry me. So I'll give you a bit more of a vid on that when I get underneath. So the plan now is to use Sikaflex Pro Plus, which a plumber told me is the best way to go because it's a lot more flexible and forgiving and a more professional silicone in the white. And we have packed it up with spacers, so it's about 4.5 mil there, and it's about 3.4 mil there. When you put the so I had to make a packer, so I made this packer up, so it sits in there, and I will urethane all of that under there so nothing moves and it's all glued. And then I'll urethane up in here, so where there's a couple of holes, right, and we'll fill that up so that, you know, it's all firm. And then this sits on here, with this underneath it first. That's a nice fit into that hole, so then I'll urethane that there so there's no leaks, and then it'll sit in the hole and it'll be something like that. Nothing's squared yet, but what I've done, my plan is to fill the cavity with urethane in here, a bit underneath to glue all the spacers in place. In here, plenty of urethane. Put this in place. You can see I've got a screw hole here and a screw hole here. And then they already have a hole drilled in it, which I can seal off later. And then I will pull that down, and with this piece of wood, it's like a long bolt going through, and then onto the chassis underneath with a big washer and a nut, and that will clamp the whole lot down. And all going to plan, urethane will squeeze out of these joints here, all around in here, right, so that I know the whole thing's submerged in urethane. And what I'm about to do next before I glue it in is to with a bit of propylene alcohol clean up the surface here. I've got some fine, not fine line, but fiddly masking tape. It's really thin, and I've tried it already and it sticks really well. So I'll clean all that up, and I'll mask off all around here where I don't want the urethane, and I'll go right out to here, because I know what happens. It's like shit to a blanket, urethane. And then we will clamp her in, ooze her out, and then level her off and do the final touch-ups so that we've got a level urethane there. And I'll come out to probably about, I don't know, maybe 8 mil out, something like that. And what I did here, you can see there, I beveled off the edge so there's not a sharp edge, so that when this is sitting in, there's a recess here, so the urethane will come level to the edge here, and it'll be level on the where I've masked it to along here. So all going well, it should look quite neat, and the water should all run off. That's the plan. So wish me luck, because we're going in with the urethane, and I'll update you in another video.